I have a report on yesterday's events in Accountability Angel's trial. Remember, this is just one person's report, but let's read it. The trial of the Accountability Angel Farmer of Peru, is underway in Ottawa. Prosecutors say Farmer shoved her body into two different deputies when entering the LaSalle County Criminal Justice Center in March of 2021. Her goal, according to the prosecution, was to instigate a confrontation to get YouTube views, likes, and maybe just a lawsuit. Farmer is charged with battery and obstruction of justice. Well, there's actually 4 charges. Angel Farmer's defense attorney says his client does a great service as an investigative journalist, showing corruption to the public. The attorney tells the jury if Angel Farmer was around in the 20s or 30s, she would be known as a muckraker. The jury is now watching a video where Farmer and her brother mill around outside the sheriff's office entrance, recording for more than an hour. Angel is heard asking to speak to an officer for a battery complaint, while her brother bangs a sheriff department's door and frequently rings a bell seeking to speak with a deputy. Farmer's brother, Jacob, was found guilty last year of battery and obstruction. He was given probation and weekend time in jail. The video shown to the jury was from March 2, 2021, 6 days before the alleged battery and obstructing crimes occurred outside the sheriff's office. That day, according to the deputy on the stand, the order was given not to make any arrests. The Angel Farmer trial has stopped for a lunch break. Testimony resumes at 1. Prior to the break, a deputy sheriff stationed by the courthouse metal detector testified that her many encounters with Farmer were exhausting, but that Farmer was never violent towards her. The deputy stated Farmer threatened to sue her many times. The deputy sheriff told Farmer's attorney that the only time she saw Angel get physically violent was while being arrested March 8th. Farmer's attorney then aimed to say the witness had her view of Angel blocked by other officers and a metal detector. Kurt Pastrick, a part-time security officer for LaSalle County and 35-year law enforcement officer, takes the stand. Was court security for 1 month to the day on March 8, 2021. Uniform was blazer, shirt, tie, badge, insignia, firearm on right hip. Identifies defendant Farmer in courtroom. Testifies she and her brother the week before engaged in confrontation with Deputy Ortiz. The Farmers wanted to bring in forbidden cell phones. Said it was their constitutional right to have them in the building. Says a brother wouldn't comply with COVID protocols at the entrance. J. Farmer was being belligerent and pounding on windows. A. Farmer tried to circumvent the metal detector twice. Says she body checked him. State tries to admit security camera video as evidence. Defense attorney throws up 3 objections. Succeeds with question of video chain of custody. State establishes it was secure since the incident to Ryan's satisfaction. The video, which is one segment of the longer one shown this morning, is shown. Deputy James Knoblach takes the stand as a state witness. Former Ogilvie police chief is now in court security. Says he has arresting powers in the courthouse. He says he was badged and carrying a sidearm on March 8. Says he was returning from lunch and heard commotion at the north entrance of the building. Says they were the Farmer siblings. They had phones and were apparently videotaping. Jacob was allowed in because he handed phone to Angel. He then went through the COVID protocol. Angel was outside and banging on doors as Jacob was going through the process. Knoblach escorted Jacob to the records office. Angel kept banging on the door. Another person arrived at the door and Knoblach allowed the person in. In trying to close the door, he said Angel put her weight into the door, trying to push her way in. She claimed he was touching her. He says he wasn't and that she wouldn't step back. Knoblach said he felt violated, felt he was insulted by her claim he was touching her. He says the reverse was the case, that she shoved the door, driving his wrist into the door, causing pain. Defense lawyer continues objecting about the security of the chain of custody of the video made by the Farmers, as state tries to admit it. Ryan says there's no indication the tape had been tampered with, and it is played in the courtroom. Jacob narrates the video. Tape shows the farmers were told signs indicate no phones allowed, but farmers aren't accepting that. Angel asks the guard to let them into their publicly funded building and saying she has the right to be in the building. Jacob pounds on door. Angel says they want in at any cost. Jacob keeps pounding on the glass door with the side of his fist while saying he can't hear what the guard is saying. Angel, you are violating multiple of my civil rights, claiming freedom of the press. Jacob is admitted. Angel keeps demanding his name and saying she dares him to detain her. While narrating the action, apparently for her YouTube viewers, she pounds on door now, demanding entry to file a complaint. She says she's gonna go live on video. Keeps narrating to guys indicating followers. More pounding on the door. This is when the other citizen tries to enter the building behind her. Again claims violation of freedom of the press. Phone in Angel's hand shows the Nod Black incident from her point of view. He lets the other man in. Video shows he is not touching her. His left hand is behind his back and his right hand is holding the door per his training. Twice she is warned about touching him, but he starts swearing. You're putting your effing body on me. Quit touching my ass. Nod Black tells her to quit pushing him. Then she asks to be arrested and says, we'd love to have a lawsuit. Jacob and she continue cursing at Nod Black and refuse to comply with him asking them to step back please. The farmers continue narrating video. Nod Black's hands are not on her, but she yells at him to get his effing hands off, calling another deputy a douchebag. Defense attorney raising issue of Nod Black's playing music during the incident, saying, that wasn't very professional, was it, sir? Playing music while she was talking to you, Nod Black. I wouldn't say she was talking, she was harassing. On redirect, Nod Black says Angel had verbally confronted him in the past about his wife and his son, who had died of cancer. Lou Reaver, court security deputy, takes the stand, outlines his background as an Ottawa PD officer. Reaver was being trained March 8, 2021, but had been deputised. He also was still Ottawa PD at the time. He was stationed at the metal detector at the north door. Reaver asked them to take their phones back to their cars as they approached the building. He also indicated the sign prohibiting cell phones. Testifies they were pounding on the door and demanding entry. Says he offered to have a deputy collect their complaint form, but that Angel said it was her right to turn them in herself. She continued to record and pound on the door and ring the buzzer for the desk sergeant. Reaver said Nod Black allowed in the other party not associated with the farmers, and that as Nod Black tried to close the door ahead of Angel, she used her backside to shove the door open. Reaver was directly behind Nod Black, and that he had to brace his arm as she was bumping into him numerous times. Angel was using her hip to shove Nod Black while yelling that Nod Black was touching her, even though his hand was behind his back, next to Reaver. Says she was making full statements about Nod Black touching her. On cross, Angel's attorney tries to call into question the validity of Reaver's report on the incident report, saying the reason Reaver gives for the bystander's visit was inaccurate. State vigorously repeatedly objects. At one point, an objection is withdrawn with the comment, I'm going to see if he, brackets defence counsel, can find a way out of this. Following a break, the state rests. Angel Farmer takes the stand, calls herself an independent journalist, says her job is to go out in public and promote accountability, compliance checks, Freedom of Information Act requests, etc. Says she's essentially checking for transparency to ensure she's allowed to go about her business as she should be and look for corruption. She was at the jail in November 2020, 4 months before her arrest, to collect FOIA forms. She says she has a back and forth with security and was referred to the sheriff's office. Countered Nod Black and others, including now Sheriff Adam Diss. On another occasion, she went into the downtown courthouse to get a copy of a child support order. Female bailiff asked if Angel were recording. Angel told her she was, and the bailiff said she couldn't. Then she got into an altercation with Deputy Bonts. She says she can't say whether they touched bodies or not. Angel says she dropped the F-bomb at one point and Bonts pushed her phone to the degree that her camera was turned off. She called the sheriff's office. Judge tells the defence attorney to move forward from that date. Lawyer continues in his line of questioning. Ryan orders him to move on right now. Recalling activity in February, Angel recounts an incident that happened between her and Noblack in which she was filing a complaint on him. She says she went to the state's attorney office complaining about the sheriff's office. Video recording the whole time. She says state's attorney Joseph Navarro closed blinds on the window where she was complaining. She says she was narrating the event into her camera at the time. She's apparently trying to establish a history of conflict with county officials prior to March 8. The jury again is shown video of the March 8 incident as she gives her side of it. Angel closes direct by saying at no time and in no way did she hurt Noblack in the March 8 doorway incident. State starts cross by establishing that Angel has audited public facilities in numerous communities she never lived, and that Angel has filed complaints in some of those places. Farmer contends her videos, by and large, are supportive of public officials and employees, showing them in good light. She testifies Noblack had told her in February that no cell phones were allowed past the metal detectors at the door. She asserts she never said anything about Noblack's deceased son or another guard's father passing to taunt them. State contends controversy in what Angel wants in producing and posting her videos. Angel again asserts most of her videos are positive. State says captions on farmers' videos often are taunting and confrontational, citing one caption on the Noblack video, "I abuse women and then fake injuries to cover my crime." Other videos call him scum and a tyrant. Angel acknowledges she bought a body cam a few days ahead of the March 8 incident. Angel says she was never allowed a phone call the day of her arrest. Says she was battered, traumatised and horrified that day, but date shows a mugshot of her in good spirits, trying to demonstrate a conflict. Defence rests. Closing arguments are at 9 a.m. tomorrow, which is of course today. I'll leave you with just a screenshot of all the charges. Thanks for watching.